The assignment. The grand chamber of the Galactic Assembly fell silent as Commander Maya Chen strode forward. Her midnight blue uniform with silver piping, Earth's colors, stood in stark contrast to the vibrant robes and morphing biosuits worn by the alien representatives. Hundreds of eyes tracked her movement. Some blinked with multiple eyelids, others extended on stalks for a better view. Maya kept her expression neutral, but inside she felt a mixture of pride and bitter amusement. The assembly thought they were sending her team on a suicide mission. They had no idea what humans were truly capable of. "Commander Chen," said High Counselor Zyrtok, its translucent skin pulsing with bioluminescent patterns that conveyed as much meaning as its translated words. "Your species has volunteered for an expedition that has claimed 23 previous attempts. Are you certain you wish to proceed?" Maya nodded once, crisp and professional. "My team and I are ready, High Counselor." The massive display behind, the Assembly's central platform illuminated with images of Terminus 9. Jagged mountains with impossibly sharp peaks rose from landscapes of glass-like plains. Oceans churned with acid waves that dissolved metal on contact. Electrical storms never ceased, their lightning strong enough to vaporize standard hull plating. The atmospheric composition alone had killed most explorers within minutes of exposure. She heard Lieutenant Jackson snort quietly behind her, and Maya didn't need to turn around to know he was suppressing laughter. The aliens had never bothered to check Earth's classification in their own system. To them, humans had evolved on a Class 3 habitable world. They had no idea that Earth itself was technically a Class 0 death world by their standards. Humans had simply never corrected their new galactic neighbors when they made their assumptions. "Terminus 9 is classified as a Class 0 death world," continued Zyrtok, its voice synthesizer unable to hide the concern in its tone. "No sentient species has ever established a permanent presence there. The gravity is 1.4 times Earth standard. The atmospheric pressure is twice what your species evolved in. Daily temperature fluctuations range from 60 degrees C to 45 degrees C. The air contains elements toxic to all known carbon-based life." From her position slightly behind Maya, Dr. Eliza Wong, their xenobiologist, whispered, "Sounds like spring in Chicago." Maya suppressed a smile. "We understand the risks, High Counselor. Humans evolved under extreme conditions. We believe we are uniquely adapted for this mission." Representative Kazoth of the Myriad Collective leaned forward, his crystalline exoskeleton clicking softly. "Your confidence is admirable, Commander, but perhaps misplaced. The previous expedition, our most advanced Thalaxian scouts, transmitted only 12 minutes of data before all contact was lost." "We've studied that data thoroughly," Maya replied. "We've made appropriate preparations." "Your team composition?" asked Kazoth. "Myself as commander, Dr. Eliza Wong, xenobiologist, Lieutenant Marcus Jackson, security and tactical, Engineer Raj Patel, structures and systems, Dr. Sora Nakamura, geologist and chemist, and communications specialist Diego Reyes." The Assembly. Members studied the human team with expressions ranging from pity to skepticism. To them, the 6 humans looked nearly identical. Same basic body structure, same approximate size. They couldn't see the diverse backgrounds, specialties, and experiences that made each team member extraordinary. "The mission parameters remain simple," Zyrtok stated. "Establish a functional outpost on Terminus 9 and survive for 1 standard galactic year. If successful, Earth will be granted full membership in the Assembly and access to Class A technology and trade routes." What went unsaid, but was obvious to Maya, was that no one expected the humans to succeed. This was politics, a convenient way for the Assembly to deal with the aggressive newcomers that had rapidly expanded through their local sector. Send them on an impossible mission, watch them fail spectacularly, then Earth would understand its place in the hierarchy. "We accept these terms," Maya said firmly, "and when we succeed, the Assembly will honor its promise." The meeting concluded shortly after. As they left the chamber, her team gathered around her in the vast corridor. "Did you see their faces?" Marcus asked, dark eyes bright with excitement. Half of them think we're walking to our deaths. The other half think we're too stupid to know better. They have no idea what we're capable of, Eliza said, checking data on her tablet. Their species evolved on worlds with stable climates and few natural predators. They've engineered away all evolutionary adaptations for survival. Which is exactly why they need us, Maya pointed out. The Assembly has been trying to establish a presence on Terminus 9 for centuries. Something valuable is there. Official reports mention rare minerals and elements, Raj noted, his fingers tracing invisible engineering diagrams in the air as he spoke. Deposits not found on habitable worlds. That's not worth losing 23 expeditions, Sora countered, shaking her head so her short black hair swayed. There's something else they're not telling us. Diego, who'd been quiet until now, spoke up. I've been monitoring their encrypted channels. There are references to artifacts, ancient technology. Maya nodded. The Assembly had been secretive. From the start. Whatever's there, we're going to find it, and we're going to use it to ensure humans are never underestimated again. They reached their temporary quarters, a suite of rooms modified to Earth standards. While the accommodations were comfortable, Maya knew her team was eager to begin their real mission. Pack for hell, she told them with a sharp smile. We leave in 36 hours. 2 days later, they stood in the launch bay beside their ship, the UES Resilience. It was small compared to the massive assembly vessels, but sturdy and packed with Earth's best technology. Plus several modifications the Assembly didn't know about. High Counselor Zir Tak came to see them off, its skin dimmed to a pale blue that Maya had learned indicated concern or regret. Your species shows remarkable courage, it said. We will honor your sacrifice. Maya clasped the alien's hand firmly but carefully, mindful of its delicate structure. It's not a sacrifice if we come back alive, High Counselor. The loading ramp sealed behind them with a pneumatic hiss. Inside the ship, the team strapped into their positions, the launch countdown beginning on the main display. Everyone ready? Maya asked, looking around at her crew. Born ready, Marcus replied, his hands steady on the tactical console. All systems optimal, reported Raj from engineering. Medical bay prepped, said Eliza. Communications online, confirmed Diego. Geology lab secured, Sora added. Maya nodded and opened the ship-wide channel. This is Commander Chen. Launch sequence initiated. Next stop, the impossible planet. The Resilience lifted smoothly from the platform. Through the viewports, Maya could see Assembly representatives watching, their postures betraying that they were already mourning the humans they believed were flying to their deaths. Little do they know, Maya murmured as the ship accelerated toward orbit. We're just going to a place that feels like home. The Resilience broke free of the station's gravity well and set course for Terminus 9. The journey would take 2 weeks, at maximum speed. 2 weeks for the team to prepare for conditions that had killed 23 other expeditions. But unlike those others, humans knew what it meant to evolve on a world that tried to kill you every day. They knew what it meant to adapt and survive against impossible odds. They were going to a Class 0 Deathworld, and they were going to make it their own. The Resilience shuddered violently as it entered Terminus 9's atmosphere. Lightning flashed, outside the viewports, each bolt larger than any seen on Earth. The ship dropped through thick cloud layers that glowed with strange energy. Metal groaned as the hull heated. Some welcome party, Raj remarked from his station, his hands moving rapidly over the controls, making minute adjustments to prevent them from burning up. Maya gripped her command chair tightly. Status report. Hull temperature rising but within safety parameters, Raj replied. Atmospheric thrusters at maximum. Sensors show winds at 210 kilometers per hour, Sora added. Atmospheric composition is similar to Earth during the Carboniferous period, Eliza reported. Oxygen levels at 28%, higher than Earth but manageable. That'll make things interesting, Marcus observed. More oxygen means more energy in our bodies, but also more intense fires. The ship broke through the final cloud layer. Below them spread a landscape that looked both alien and strangely familiar. Massive crystal formations rose from plains of obsidian-like stone. In the distance, a sea of dark liquid churned with enormous waves, Lightning continued to flash across the sky, striking the tallest crystal spires. Landing zone is 3 kilometers ahead, Diego reported. Scanners show a relatively flat area between those ridge formations. Maya nodded. Take us in. Everyone prepare for turbulence. The Resilience descended toward a wide valley that offered some protection from the fierce winds. As they approached the ground, they could see the surface was covered with what looked like metallic vegetation, plants with leaves of copper and silver hues that bent in the gale force winds. With a final shudder and a resounding thump, the ship touched down on Terminus 9. For a moment, everyone sat in silence, listening to the howl of the wind outside and the ping of particles hitting the hull. We're here, Maya said finally. First human footsteps on a Class 0 Deathworld. She paused, then added with a smile, officially, anyway. Environmental readings coming in, Raj reported. Outside temperature is 52 degrees Go, gravity at 1.4 G as expected, wind speed at 80 kilometers per hour, but our landing zone is providing some shelter. Any immediate threats? Maya asked. Eliza checked her biological sensors. Nothing large showing up on scans within 2 kilometers. Plenty of small life forms, though. The metallic-looking vegetation outside is everywhere. The assembly provided us with environmental suits, Sora reminded them. They insisted no species could survive direct exposure to the atmosphere. Marcus snorted. 10 credits says I can breathe just fine out there. No bet, Eliza replied. The air is actually less toxic than some Earth cities I've visited, Maya stood up. Let's suit up, but we'll test the atmosphere properly before anyone takes off their helmet. We follow protocols. At first. The team moved to the airlock chamber where 6 bulky environmental suits waited. The suits were top assembly technology, designed to protect against extreme temperatures, toxic air, and high radiation. They looked impressive, but felt restrictive to the humans. These things will slow us down, Marcus complained as he struggled into his. Just wear it for the first outing, Maya ordered. We'll run our own tests, then decide what equipment actually makes sense. Once suited up, they gathered at the airlock. A camera drone hovered nearby, ready to transmit their first steps back to the assembly. Maya knew there would be hundreds of alien scientists watching, all expecting to see the humans struggle and die. Communications check, Diego said. Everyone confirmed their comms were working. Maya took a deep breath. Open the airlock. With a hiss, the outer door slid open. Immediately, a blast of hot air rushed in, carrying metallic dust particles that swirled around them. The roar of the wind was loud even through their helmets. Maya stepped out first, her boots sinking slightly into the glassy ground. The gravity pulled at her body, making each step require more effort than on Earth, but it wasn't unbearable. In fact, it felt similar to wearing a heavy backpack during training. First step on Terminus 9, she said for the benefit of their audience. Surface is stable. Movement is possible but requires additional effort due to gravity. The rest of the team followed her out. They spread out slightly, each examining different aspects of their landing site. Temperature readings inside my suit are climbing, Raj reported. These suits aren't as efficient as they claimed. Eliza was already collecting samples of the metallic vegetation. This is fascinating. These plants have evolved to conduct electricity. They're using the constant lightning as an energy source. Marcus walked a short distance away, testing the terrain. Ground feels solid enough to build on. Those ridges will provide good protection from the worst storms. Sora monitored their vital signs. Everyone's heart rate is elevated. But that's expected with the higher gravity and oxygen levels. Maya looked up at the sky. Dark clouds raced overhead, occasionally splitting open with lightning. In the distance, she could see what looked like a permanent storm system, spinning like a hurricane that never ended. Diego, what are you picking up on communications? She asked. Nothing artificial, he replied. But there's a lot of electromagnetic activity. The planet itself seems to be generating signals. Maya nodded. It was time for their first test. She reached up and carefully unsealed her helmet. The team watched her closely. Commander, Sora warned. The assembly data says the atmosphere contains toxic levels of sulfur compounds. Let's find out, Maya replied. She lifted the helmet off. The hot air hit her face immediately. It smelled strongly of ozone and something like metallic blood, but it wasn't overwhelming. She took a careful breath, then another. Air is breathable, she announced. Smells like a volcanic area on Earth, but nothing we can't handle. One by one, the others removed their helmets too. Marcus grinned as he took a deep breath. Smells like Los Angeles on a bad day, he joked. But I've breathed worse. They knew the assembly observers would be shocked. No other species had been able to breathe the air of Terminus 9 without filtration. Let's set up the basic shelter, Maya ordered. We need to establish our position before nightfall. Temperatures will drop quickly once the sun sets. As they worked to unload equipment from the ship, a distant roar echoed across the valley. Everyone paused, looking toward the sound. What was that? Diego asked. Eliza checked her scanner. Large life form about 5 kilometers away and moving in this direction. Very large. Marcus reached for his weapon. Sounds like we're about to meet the locals. Maya smiled. This was what humans did best. Adapt and survive. Whatever was coming their way, they would be ready. Welcome to day 1 on our new home, she said. Let's show the assembly what humans can really do. Adaptation and discovery. 2 weeks had passed since the humans landed on Terminus 9. The Galactic Assembly monitoring team watched in stunned silence as new data streamed in from the planet's surface. The main viewing screen showed Maya's team working outside their base camp wearing only light protective clothing, no environmental suits in sight. This defies all scientific understanding, said Representative Kazath, his crystalline structure vibrating with agitation. The atmospheric composition alone should have poisoned them within days. Yet they thrive. They have already established a permanent settlement and begun exploration beyond their landing zone. High Counselor Zaire Talk replied quietly. No previous expedition survived long enough to build even temporary structures. On Terminus 9, morning, sunlight filtered through the transparent roof panels of the main structure the humans had constructed. They had built it using a combination of materials from their ship and resources found on the planet. The supporting framework came from the metallic plants which they discovered had remarkable tensile strength. The walls incorporated a strange crystal-like substance that provided excellent insulation against the extreme temperature fluctuations. Maya sat at the command table with her team, reviewing their progress. Despite the harsh conditions, they all looked healthy and energized. The higher oxygen levels in the atmosphere had actually increased their stamina after an initial adjustment period. Eliza, what's the status on your biological survey? Maya asked. The xenobiologist's eyes lit up with excitement. Better than expected. Many organisms here have parallels to extremophales on Earth. I've identified bacteria similar to those in our deep-sea hydrothermal vents. And the metallic vegetation, it doesn't just conduct electricity, it stores it. Their cellular structure has elements of both plant and animal characteristics. Could we use that for power generation? Raj asked, leaning forward with interest. Already working on it, Eliza replied. I think we can create biobatteries that would supplement our solar panels. Maya nodded approvingly. Sora, how is everyone's health holding up? The higher gravity is actually having positive effects, the doctor reported. Bone density is increasing and muscle mass is up by 15%. The oxygen-rich air means more efficient cellular respiration. As long as we're careful about radiation exposure and maintain our water purification system, we should face no major health concerns. What about those predators? Maya asked, turning to Marcus. 3 days earlier, they had encountered the source of the roaring sound. 8-limbed creatures with metallic exoskeletons and multiple sensory organs had approached their camp. The beasts stood 3 meters tall and moved with surprising speed despite their bulk. Marcus smiled confidently. They keep their distance now after I demonstrated our sonic repellers. They seem intelligent enough to recognize us as a potential threat. I've observed them watching the camp from the ridgelines, but they no longer approach within weapon range. They're definitely sentient, Diego added. They use coordinated hunting patterns and have a form of communication. The sounds they make follow specific patterns that repeat. I've started to identify what might be a basic vocabulary. Maya considered this information. Keep detailed records of any interactions. The assembly prohibited us from bringing high-powered weapons, but our defensive measures seem adequate for now. Speaking of the assembly, Diego said, I've established a stable communication channel despite the magnetic interference. Actually, the storm patterns boost our signal if we modulate on the right frequency. We're due for a check-in tomorrow. Good, Maya replied. They'll be expecting reports of our struggles. Let's show them how well we're adapting instead. That afternoon, a violent tremor shook the region. The ground rolled beneath their feet like ocean waves. Part of their shelter collapsed as a fissure opened in the valley floor. Maya found herself thrown to the ground as the shaking intensified. Around her, the team scrambled for stable positions. Electric blue energy vented from the new crack in the earth, carrying a strong metallic smell. When the tremor finally stopped, they emerged cautiously to assess the damage. Everyone okay? Maya called out, doing a quick head count. They had minor cuts and bruises, but nothing serious. Their shelter had partially collapsed, with the northern wall completely gone. That was at least magnitude 7.5, Sora said, scanning the area with her instruments. And I'm detecting more seismic activity building. This planet has an incredibly active crust. Instead of panic, the team quickly organized into repair groups. They had experienced earthquakes on Earth. This was just another challenge to overcome. By nightfall, they had not only repaired the damaged shelter but improved it. Raj had designed a flexible foundation system that could better absorb ground movement. They incorporated the nearby fissure into their design, using the energy emissions as a heat source. The assembly would have evacuated after that quake, Marcus commented as they sat around their heating unit that evening. The temperature outside had dropped to 30 degrees C, but inside their shelter it remained comfortable. The assembly designs rigid structures that shatter under stress, Raj replied, sipping a hot beverage they'd created from local plants. They never understood that adaptation is about bending, not breaking. 1 month into their mission, Maya led an expedition deeper into the crystal formations they had spotted from orbit. Scans had detected unusual energy readings coming from that region, and she wanted to investigate personally. Maya, Eliza, and Marcus made their way carefully through a forest of crystalline spires that rose hundreds of meters into the sky. The formations hummed with energy, vibrating slightly as electricity from the constant lightning was conducted through their structures. These aren't natural, Eliza said, examining one of the crystals closely. They're too uniform, too perfectly aligned. Artificial? Maya asked, running her hand along the smooth surface. More like cultivated, Eliza replied. Like someone grew them deliberately. Marcus, who had moved ahead, suddenly called back. Commander, you need to see this. They found him standing at the edge of a massive circular depression. In the center stood what could only be described as a structure, a perfect dome of interlocking crystal segments. Unlike the raw crystal formations around it, this structure had clearly been crafted with precision. Is that what I think it is? Maya asked quietly. An artificial structure, Eliza confirmed. Evidence of intelligent construction. The previous expeditions never reported this, Marcus said. They never lived long enough to find it, Maya replied. Come on, let's take a closer look. They made their way down the slope toward the dome. As they approached, sections of the crystal began to glow with an internal light. By the time they reached the base of the structure, patterns of light were racing across its surface. It's responding to our presence, Eliza said. Or our biology, Maya suggested. They found what appeared to be an entrance, a seamless section of the dome that looked no different from the rest. But when Maya placed her hand against it, the high crystal turned transparent, then seemed to dissolve entirely, revealing a passage inside. Should we go in? Marcus asked, weapon ready. Maya nodded. That's why we're here. Inside, they discovered a vast chamber filled with technology unlike anything they had seen before. Crystal consoles lined the walls, emanating soft light. In the center of the room stood what appeared to be a three-dimensional projection of Terminus 9, showing energy flows throughout the planet. This is incredible, Eliza breathed, examining the nearest console. This technology must be millions of years old, yet it's still functioning. The assembly knew, Maya said, realization dawning. This is what they've been after. Not resources, knowledge. As they moved deeper into the structure, they discovered more chambers. One contained what appeared to be hibernation pods, thousands of them arranged in concentric circles. All were empty. Whoever built this place is long gone, Marcus observed. Or evolved, Eliza suggested. The metallic creatures we encountered, could they be descendants? In the central chamber they found a crystal different from all the others, a perfect sphere that pulsed with energy. When Maya approached it, the sphere rose from its pedestal and hovered before her. A voice, not heard with ears but felt in their minds, spoke. First viable biological match in 4.3 million cycles, initiating integration protocol. Light erupted from the sphere, enveloping Maya. For a moment, her companions could only watch in horror as she seemed to dissolve into pure energy. Then, as suddenly as it had begun, the light receded, and Maya stood there, unchanged except for her eyes, which now held the same electric blue glow as the crystals. Maya? Eliza called anxiously. Are you okay? Maya turned to them, a look of wonder on her face. I'm fine. Better than fine. I understand now. Understand what? Marcus asked, still gripping his weapon uncertainly. Everything, Maya replied. Why the Assembly wants this planet. Why none of their expeditions succeeded. This isn't just a structure, it's a nexus point. The entire planet is a machine, designed to harness energy on a scale we can barely comprehend. A machine built by whom? Eliza asked. They called themselves the progenitors, Maya said, knowledge flowing through her mind from the crystal. Integration. They seeded life throughout this galaxy millions of years ago, including on Earth. Humans aren't just compatible with this planet, we're descendants of the people who built it. When they returned to base camp, Maya immediately ordered Diego to establish a secure channel to Earth, bypassing the Assembly monitoring systems. The information they had discovered was too important to share with the Assembly first. While they waited for the connection, Maya explained everything to the team. The progenitors had built Terminus 9 as both a power source and a repository of their most advanced technology. They had designed it to be accessible only to their own species, or direct genetic descendants, which it turned out humans were. So that's why the Assembly kept sending expeditions here, Raj said. They suspected what this planet contained, but they couldn't access it themselves. Exactly, Maya confirmed. And they hoped that by sending us here, we'd either die like all the others, or, if we survived, we'd unwittingly give them access to the technology. What do we do now? Sora asked. Before Maya could answer, Diego called out, Commander, Assembly vessels just entered orbit. A lot of them, and they're launching landing craft. Maya's expression hardened. They must have monitored our discovery, somehow. They're coming to take the technology by force. Can they? Marcus asked. Maya shook her head, the blue glow in her eyes intensifying. No. The planet itself won't allow it, but they could destroy a lot in the attempt, including us. She moved to the communications console. Open a channel to the lead assembly vessel. The screen flickered to life, showing High Counselor Zyrtok. Commander Chen, it said, its skin pulsing with rapid patterns that indicated agitation. We detected unusual energy signatures from your location. We've come to provide assistance. That won't be necessary, High Counselor, Maya replied coldly. We know why you're really here. The alien's patterns shifted to a deep red. I don't know what you mean. The progenitor technology, Maya said. You sent 23 expeditions to retrieve it, and all failed. Then you sent us, hoping we'd do your work for you. The technology rightfully belongs to all sentient species, Zyrtok insisted. Perhaps, Maya agreed. But the progenitors decided differently. They made sure only their descendants could access it, and that's us. Not you. She leaned forward. Your landing craft have just entered the atmosphere. I suggest you recall them immediately. Or what, Commander? The alien challenged. Maya smiled. The planet is aware of your presence now. It's been programmed to protect itself from unauthorized access. Those ships will never reach the surface intact. As if on cue, the sky outside lit up with massive lightning bolts, reaching up from the crystal formations to strike the incoming vessels. One by one, the assembly landing craft broke apart or veered off course, crashing into the mountains. This doesn't have to end in conflict, Maya continued. Humanity is willing to share what we learn here, but on our terms, not yours. The assembly must recognize Earth as an equal partner, not a junior member to be manipulated. For a long moment, Zyrtok was silent, its skin cycling through a range of colors. Finally, it spoke. The assembly will consider your proposal. Good, Maya replied. In the meantime, keep your ships in high orbit. Any vessel that approaches without authorization will be treated as hostile. After the communication ended, the team gathered around Maya. Do you think they'll agree? Diego asked. They don't have a choice, Maya said. They can't access this planet without us, and they know it now. So what's next? Raj asked. Maya looked around at her team, then out the window at the incredible landscape of their new home, a world that had killed all other visitors but welcomed them as family. Now, she said, the glow in her eyes matching the lightning outside, we build. This planet was meant to be a beacon of knowledge and power. It's time to relight that beacon, she smiled. They sent humans to a Class 0 Deathworld expecting us to die. Instead, we found our inheritance. In orbit above, the assembly ships maintained their distance, watching as new structures began to rise from the surface of Terminus 9, human structures, integrated with ancient progenitor technology, forming the first true human colony on a world that had defied all others. The impossible mission had become humanity's greatest triumph, and the galaxy would never be the same.